Hi, my name's Shawanna Vaughn. Hi, my name's Shawanna Vaughn. I am the director of Silent Cry nonprofit organization, and this month is Women's Month, and I want to do a piece on domestic violence for you. It's called She Will Rise Again No More. Devastation of the pain on her face can't be erased. Fist pound face. The scars, the bruises cannot be erased. Fist pound face. Thump, thud, hit, slap, kick, punch, beat. Drifting in and out of space, consciousness is a scary place. The blood-stained splattered can't be replaced. As she lay there, weightless, timeless, and slipping away, the heartbeat becomes but a tone, no longer a beat. Flatline as the monitor beeps. Still and quiet, she lay in the morgue. She will rise again no more. No thump, thud, hit, slap, kick, punch, beat. No heartbeat, just sleep. Sunlit complexion sparkle in her life. Replaced by fright, her body and soul took flight. She will rise again no more. Thump, thud, hit, slap, kick, punch, beat. No heartbeat, just sleep. She will rise again no more. Stop domestic violence. This is my plea. Is anyone hearing me? Thank you for listening. This is 30 frames a second.
Into the fact where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy. As a lot of you know already, this is 30 frames a second. And unless you've been living in Thailand, you are aware that in the United States of America, this is March, and March is Women's Month. I don't even want to say Women's History Month, just Women's Month. And it's a month that commemorates women. And I am pleased to report that after a huge knockdown, drag-out battle, the President did sign the Violence Against Women Act. My guest today is Shawanna Vaughn, and she is the president and director of Silent Cry. Silent Cry, she's a mother, she's a woman, so you know how they are. And she spends a lot of her time, in spite of the fact that she really has her own life to lead, and it's a struggle, and she, we all could use some help from all of us. But she spends a lot of her time on issues of violence against our community, violence against our children, violence against our women. And today, as per Women's Month, we're going to talk about domestic violence. At least that's going to be one of our main focuses, and where the conversation leads is where it leads. With that, I'm gonna say hi there, guest woman.
Hey, good afternoon.
Yeah, yeah. We have another guest here. What's
Anya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anya is our guest today.
Yeah.
Yes. Say
she's
hi.
smiling.
Say hi.
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, we dropped something. I'll get that in a minute. This is live TV, so you never know what's going to happen, but you should expect that. It's live TV. It's not a tape. There's no editing. You are doing some now. Not only do you do a lot of administrative stuff, and you do a lot of grant writing and stuff, but you're kind of artsy, fartsy,
Yes.
artsy, craftsy.
Yes.
You did a project from a funeral
parlor. Yes.
Parlor, yeah.
Yes.
How did you think of that? Tell us about that. What was it about, and how'd you think of it?
Well, I did a video project prior, and it was a piece that I did called It's Time. And it is about black on black crime and youth and how they're just murdering each other in the streets. And I said, you know, you have to go visual. And what better can they understand but a casket and a funeral home, you know? And so the element of surprise was I said, you know, I have to do what works because we're visual. We're not auditory.
Right.
And we certainly do not read it in a book. So I had to visually give it to them in a way that they would understand or interpret.
Right. One of the issues, the main issue, the main focus in everything that you're doing, whether it's violence, young people violence against each other, or domestic violence,
Is youth.
is, well, it's black male youth that are misdirected, have no vision, no focus, and basically running wild in a world that is violent. So
Of course.
we seem to be getting all of our information from a place, and we do not know how to process the information, and we interpret the information and reinterpret the information, and it becomes almost a curse.
Exactly.
You know? I, the father, become dysfunctional and you know, emasculated, and therefore, in order to prove that I am still, like, you know,
I am man.
Right, I'm the man. I'm the silverback. I become violent and abusive, and this learned behavior, although originally it starts out as just a disgusting, abhorrent thing to children. Somehow it's like when you have kids, it's like living with the tape recorder on. They pick this up,
they pick it up,
right, and it
and
just
they
goes
masculate
on
and emulate what they see.
How do we deal with this? Because we seem to spend a lot of time making excuses for our behavior, and just like accepting that we have some changes to make.
And we mask the problems.
We mask the problems.
We mask the problems, and we evade the problems. We don't want to talk about what's really going on.
Right.
And the schools are not. They call it bullying.
Right.
Churches.
Right.
They're praying, and everybody's just not dealing. Everybody's putting a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
But nobody's dealing with the issue.
Correct.
So.
The issues. Generally, we blame a thing. We blame guns. We blame
for violence.
Right. We blame a lot of things. We blame violent, out of control youth, but we never get to the issues that they have nothing. They have nothing. We have nothing. We're pulled from pillar to post. There's no attempt to bring anything to the school system.
You're right.
How do you address these things? You know, I mean, how did Silent Cry start? Because it's not like women's soccer.
No,
you know,
no.
I mean, some thought had to go into that.
It did. Silent Cry was basically, everybody does things that drive them. Everybody does their passion. Silent Cry was out of my own tears. You know, it was out of my own necessity. But out of my own necessity came a necessity to help others. You know, my phrase is, if you're going to cry, cry with an agenda to do something about something. You're not just going to have tears and do nothing. You have to cry with an agenda to make it better.
Right.
If you're in a domestic violence situation and you're crying every day, you need to cry with an agenda to get out. You need to cry with an agenda to change the face of how you live.
Right.
I just don't believe that people should be a victim to everything. You're not a victim of life. You cannot just walk around and be a victim. At some point, you need to cry with an agenda to do something about your life.
How receptive are the churches?
Churches are not receptive.
Not receptive.
I've knocked on a couple of doors. And it's mainly because either they have their own projects or we don't really want to deal with the issues. That's not the issue of the day.
They have their own projects.
Yes, churches have their own organizations that, women's ministry, brotherhood, and they think that those things are dealing with whatever they need. And that's not always the case because they're not tackling these type of issues. When the schools say the topics are too risque for their children, but in some junior highs we have substance abuse counselors. So we can deal with that, but we can't deal with, and then we call domestic violence bullying. So now we have a nice name for it. But if you call yourself in a relationship, and these kids call themselves dating in the 7th grade and in high school, so that's domestic violence. That's not bullying, and so we call things what they're not, and we mask things that are not, and we need to really address the issues and call an ace and a spade a spade.
Right.
This is domestic violence. Your daughter's in the 7th grade or she's in high school and this boy is hitting her or verbally abusing her, or this girl is abusing him.
Right.
Because now we're getting that.
Right.
And we need to talk about it. We need to address this in the home. We need to address this in the school, and we need to address this on the front line at the church.
Now, see, you talked about the home and the school, and then you talked about programs. One of the problems is that programs have seemed to gotten to a point where they operate simply for the existence of the program and not necessarily to affect change. In fact, affecting too much change renders the program in and of itself unnecessary, and that's the last thing anyone wants to do. Yesterday I was working on a show with Miss Florence Rice, and it was like 3 generations, because you had like Miss Rice, she'll be 94 in April. You had a young woman, I think she's in like her 60s or so, who wrote a book, Banana Dancing. And then you had a young girl in the 6th grade who studied at the Harlem School of the Arts. And she did voiceovers for the book. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young girl. I guess 6th grade, I'm kind of old, so. But I would say, what is that, like around 11?
Yeah, 11, 12.
Now, what is interesting is when you talk about the Harlem School of the Arts, and this girl was just fantastic in a world where we're losing our youth by the millions. By the millions. To see a young, beautiful black girl involved in a program in Harlem that was making her more outgoing, more articulate, more ready for the world, more confident, certainly more radiant. In Harlem, and then you think about the Harlem School of the Arts. I don't know if anyone knows the recent history of the Harlem School of the Arts, but Harlem School of the Arts was this close to being closed. It was financially in dire straits. Just like the National Black Theater, but right now I'll concentrate on the Harlem School of the Arts. And it was saved because of an initial grant from Herb Albert, Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass. And I'm not talking about like Oprah money, like build a school in Africa money. I'm talking about enough money to keep the lights on and keep a school going. And we got a lot of people who make a lot of money in Harlem and whatnot who could kick out, 10 G's, 20 G's, I mean, if they just start the ball rolling and take an interest in their own children.
Other people will follow.
Right, because, I take a pretty good interest in my children. I ain't even, but it's just indicative of the fact that whether it's matters great or small, we seem to be lost with our massa.
Of course.
We
need a leader. We need a leader.
What is up with that?
And it's sad.
What is up with that?
It's sad that we need someone else to lead us.
To just reach in your pocket
To
and
just-
say, you know, I mean, that's kind of deep, you know.
Out of Egypt I will lead my people.
Right, right.
You know,
right.
we are always looking for somebody to lead us first and then we'll follow.
Right.
When that is not the way it should be. It is not.
But we have people who profess to be the leader. But they kind of like tight on the pocket.
Yeah.
You got another poem. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let you look in there and read the poem, and I'm gonna dig around up under the table and get this woman what she really wants while you're doing it. So we're gonna like improvise and
No
let her read a poem,
problem.
so you won't see me digging around.
This is called Broken. Broken is about another issue that so often we mask in minority communities. Broken is about being abused. And it says, broken, blood splattered stains on the sheets, the throbbing of a broken hymen, the vagina of a battlefield, a war no child should win, a war no child should have to fight. As she lays in a pool of distrust, abuse, hurt, and agony, in a submarine of shame, the innocent child, does anyone bear her scars? Does anyone know her name? Broken, but here I stand. Broken is what happens to children's spirits as they are abused. Broken is what happens to the little boys and the little girls as you trust people to love you or do the right thing, and they violate and abuse your trust by abusing you. Abuse in any form, be it domestic, be it child abuse, abuse of any form is not right. And I think so often people that we trust violate our trust. People that we love violate our love. The domestic violence abuser tells her he loves her. The family member who abuses you tells you they love you. And then you are now confused on what love is, because what these people have told you is a bell of no good.
I think a lot of times they are confused
on what love is.
I mean, I think that they really think that they're doing this because
they love
you.
them. Yes.
You know, and it's some strange stuff. I mean, I can't. Some of the stuff that people do is just amazing to me. You know,
it is.
You love someone so much, but you know you chase them down and shoot them, or
abuse them, or
abuse
verbally,
them,
abusive, you're physically, mentally,
abuse other people's children. But we don't seem to have a good blueprint as to what we should and should not be doing. It seems like the negative is either excused or they're excused, right?
A forbidden taboo, because everybody has that uncle that we know something is wrong with, and we're still talking about it, but nobody is doing anything about it.
Right.
You're right.
I know a brother. He's a good brother. You know, but like a lot of old fart activists, they're forever saying stuff that you said over and over again. I think a lot of activists, especially males, think that if you just like talk louder and meaner, that it's no longer stupid what you say. It's like, this is the truth because I grow, but he said some stuff, and I was surprised at how many people black power, I share, he said that integration has destroyed the black community. And I'm like, well, first of all, I'm not destroyed, and if you're destroyed, I'll tell somebody to pray for you.
We're not destroyed.
But I'm not destroyed.
We're not.
And if we are destroyed, if we are indeed destroyed,
to ourselves.
Then why are we calling this meeting? I can go home and watch the Lone Ranger. We got like the Lone Ranger on TV. I have to do this. I got cozy TV.
I got things to do.
Right.
You know, Nat, I have to agree with you because we have a lot of excuses. We shift a lot of blame.
Right.
And we have a very lack of accountability.
Correct.
And I believe that, you know, there's some wonderful women doing some wonderful work.
Yeah, that's also annoying.
And I'm going to tell you, at this stage of the game,
right,
with the movement,
right,
and the charities and the organizations and the new blueprint,
right,
is going to be the woman.
Right.
The new blueprint
Unfortunately,
is
it seems like
the
she's
woman.
The old blueprint too.
You know, I mean, she was visibly in the.
Disappointing.
It is.
You
She
know,
was
to me
visibly.
as
You
a
know,
male.
you have the Betty Shabazzes and you have the
Right.
Coretta Scotts, and they were the backbone.
Right.
But we are visibly the new face.
Right.
We are the face.
Right.
There is no pants leading the chart. We are the face.
I wouldn't even call it the new face.
Yeah,
I would.
It is,
like,
you know.
It's very disappointing because
It's very disheartening.
You know, and I'm not disappointed in the fact that women are leading the charge, but you know, they have no backup and they have no one to take responsibility and whatnot. Yep. You know, somewhere, I don't know where they got it from. Maybe Kanye. But somebody told him that all you gotta do is make a whole lot of money. I guess if you like, you know, throw some sneakers in the kids' room, that
you did something.
Right, it makes you father of the year. But it's a very confused scenario, and I do not know how to build a legacy on that.
You can't.
No.
You cannot.
No. But I am encouraged by the fact that there seems to be a reawakening.
Yes.
In that generation.
Oh yes.
You know, when I look at my my grandkids, when I look at like the young lady that we did yesterday, they seem to be like very.
The lights are on.
Right.
And they're coming around.
Right.
We're getting through, and I believe that it's going to take them to turn it around.
I do too.
And it's going to take people like me and you. It's going to take women like Stephanie McGraw, who does Warm, and Shirley Dupree, who does King of Kings, and all these wonderful people who have organizations that are out here that do, and they do, and the Florence Rices who share.
Right.
This lady has a wealth, and she mothers a community,
and she doesn't complain,
and she does not
complain.
Trucking.
She's annoying, and she's going to drive me. I'm going to collapse.
I love
trying to keep up with this
because
woman.
it motivates me, and it should motivate most of us to get up, because this lady walks Harlem. She shares everything she has. She is a wealth of knowledge, and so she tells you her story, and you just
right.
From an
it's
orphanage
an unbelievable
to
story. Right. To come in this close to within an inch of her life, because of domestic violence against her.
You know, and she tells and she shares her story to better other people.
Yeah.
And I believe it is women like her who gives women like me the charge that you must.
When I see people like trying to bump Florence Rice at the picture, and I go nuts, I'm not going to change from that. So I want all of y'all to know that I'm the same babyface from a while ago, and that's not going to change, because as you said, this woman has gone through it all and has soldiered up year after year after year. People and organizations great and powerful have tried to destroy this woman,
and it doesn't happen.
They are all dust beneath her feet.
It doesn't happen.
You know,
and I love her because she takes on every subject.
Correct.
Every matter matters.
Correct.
And I just look and I go, you know, okay.
Right.
Because I tell her, oh, I want to put my hand in domestic violence. Oh, I want to put my hand in black on black crime.
Right.
Oh, I want to do a video. I want to write a book. And she says, do it all.
Right.
And I say, well, and she says, do it all.
Right.
Just do it all. And if nobody follows you, it's okay.
Right.
Do it all.
Right.
She says, even if you got to stand alone.
And she comes up with activists and
yes.
I mean, she had a friend who was like this old lady who was like in a wheelchair with the microphone on the wheelchair leading the tenants
association. That's
like,
right.
What the heck is this? You know.
But it's that's what's going to turn it around.
Right.
That is what I believe, that each one of us has a duty. We have an obligation. When I hear people say they've elevated themselves,
right? Yeah, that's cute.
Past past poverty.
I know. Yeah.
So we no longer give back because we've elevated ourselves. Really?
Yeah.
I don't think we can ever elevate ourselves out of our people.
Right. Right.
Because when we've done that,
right,
we have disassociated ourselves and we are detached from reality. Because we're one paycheck from going back to those projects.
No, yeah, money comes, money
and
goes. You know, that is not in and of itself a sign of elevating yourself. If you even believe that somehow because you have more money you are somehow elevated yourself, you know,
you're in the wrong frame of mind anyway.
You're just like some sort of just like sorry man-whore that doesn't even know what it means to truly upgrade yourself. As a matter of fact, I made more strides. You know, I define myself in the worst of times, not the best of times. It's free money now. It's all easy now. You know, Kindle fires for everybody. It's Christmas. You know, whoop-de-doo. You know. But no, I was defined in the worst of times. As a result, and I've always said this, and it's really true. My problem was lack of money, but it wasn't lack of character. And so if a couple of dollars come my way, I'm cool. The reverse is harder to negotiate.
Then,
because if you have money and you have no character, no backbone, well, whatever you have is going to be irrelevant. You're never going to make anything out of it. It's never going to do anything. And if you lose it, you got nothing to fall back on. You know. So a lot of people say that our problems are economic. I don't think so. No. I think that we have to build a foundation.
We have to build a foundation.
That,
it's not it's not economic. We so love to say that. But you can do little. You can do much with little.
Correct.
Single parents do it every day.
Correct.
So you know firsthand.
Correct.
It's not economics.
And you build a house from the foundation, not from the second floor.
No.
You know.
And I believe with our kids, with domestic violence and these issues that we discuss, it's the foundation. It's the blueprint. It is not the economics. It is not the neighborhood. It is not the environment. It is the foundation. And somehow, some way, Nat, we have lost the grandparent foundation. We need to reassess, reassemble, and go back.
That is so profound. That is so profound.
We need to go back.
That is so profound because it is true. It is true. When I was growing up, my elders were so dynamic, so thick as thieves, you know, that we were poor. I just never knew it. You know, they held each other up. I say this a lot, and I'm going to repeat it again because I want people to understand. My grandmother's generation, my mother's generation, they didn't know anything about Kemet or Egypt. They barely knew anything about Africa. But they were more African than we will ever be. They lived it. They didn't know, they had never heard of an Nguza Saba, but they lived the principles of Kwanzaa better than anybody. They truly lived the principle of collective economics. They truly had faith. They had never heard anybody talk about an African proverb that said it takes a village to child, but they did it. We go to African school, but we got no African in us. They never went to African school.
But they had
African, they had Africa in them, the traditions of Africa that steered them through the worst of times, you know. And I think that we tried too hard. Maybe it's because we are ashamed of who we are. Someone has told us to be ashamed of ourselves. But you can't get to Africa if you don't go through your mom and your grandma.
You're right.
You can't get her. You can't if you don't go through them. You can't get there.
Can't get there.
You know, because they are the key. You know.
And I truly believe what you're saying, because one of my themes is the village model.
Right.
Because it works.
Oh yeah.
It works. When you know, I watch now and you hear the older people say they walk on the other side of the street because they got their pants down, and I'm like, where have we gotten?
Right.
Where are we?
Right.
Where are we?
Right.
You know, and it's encouraging when you talk about the girl from yesterday and the 3 generations, because that you just bridged the gap yesterday.
Right. And is so strange to me, because when I was growing up, nobody better touch anybody's mother or grandmother. The gates of hell would open up. You'd look around and people would be coming at you from every
You had fear and reverence.
Right. And that went from the kids in school to the drug addict standing on the street. Everybody respected the pecking order and the elders and whatnot. So you could be standing on the stoop nodding, and when mama say move out the way, boy, you say yes ma'am, and you moved out the way. You know, as a matter of fact, you didn't even want to do your thing while mama was anywhere around. Just sheer respect. We don't have that anymore.
I think these kids have no fear. They have no.
They do have fear.
They do have They do have fear, but they don't have any respect.
Correct.
They have no respect.
See, it's not a question of whether or not someone has fear. The question is, what do you fear? They don't fear violence perpetrated to and from each other.
No.
They don't fear physical confrontation. They seem to fear ridicule.
Yes.
So if you're in school and you make mistakes and the kids laugh at you, you don't want to do it no more because they're laughing at you. So you don't have fear of death, but you do have fear of ridicule,
and isolation.
Of isolation, of not being accepted. This is an exploitable weakness, both the fact that you don't fear death, and you only don't fear death at the hands of your own. It seems like, you know,
of anybody.
Right. The white man can come, you know, the police can come with no weapon at all, and you know, but you don't fear each other. Maybe because you don't respect each other.
You don't respect each other.
You know, because you see yourself looking back at you and you have no self-respect.
And that's black on black crime.
That's black on black crime.
That's exactly what it is.
That's black on black crime.
You know, and then you have the new Weezy Khalifas, and they say the new Little Waynes, and they perpetuate domestic violence. They beat the trick and whip the hoe, and you're like, and this is what these children are ingesting.
That's deep.
And so these are not even soft subliminal messages anymore. It's just outright, just out there. And so they have no charge or responsibility to the same community that they grew up in, to their mothers, their grandmothers. There's no allegiance. There's no, because this sells. We're marketing a tool for abuse. And this is hot in people's ears, and these kids are doing what they hear, and you hear beat this and whoop this, and so.
But why is that rule only for us? Why is it that in order for us to sell a record, why does the corporate structure demand that we beat this, that we whoop this, that we like just like defile the memory of Emmett Till and
yes, he does.
But white artists can make songs like Call Me Maybe, you know, and make a whole lot of money.
Justin Timberlake with a suit and tie on.
Right.
And I'm loving it because
correct.
you're promoting your suit and tie.
Why
you're
the
promoting
road so different
business.
from us? Why is the road so different for us?
You know, you said I'm artsy craftsy and I
Yeah.
love spoken word, and so I'm gonna do something I don't normally do. I want everybody to watch Tyleem AC. Go on YouTube and endorse him. I'm endorsing him now. He says there's a market for niggas.
Yeah.
And excuse my verbiage, he's absolutely correct, because he says if you are a rapper and you say beat her and beat him and you stole this and you robbed from this and you shot them and now you have stripes.
Right.
See, there's a market, and they have figured out that if you can market to this community, you can take them. Just like there's only pawn shops and corner liquor stores.
Yeah.
Do you see those on the east side?
Right. No.
Okay.
No.
So if you market things to people subliminally, you've got them. And for some reason in our minority communities, you can market anything.
Right.
That is destructive and that will just deface us. You can market it.
Right.
But you can't market that in other places.
I know. You can't even do that in other places. I don't know. I really don't have a monitor. They might have it up. I'm not sure. But you can put the phone number up. I forgot all about it. I know we're a little short staff member wise in the control room. There's only a couple of people there, and it's like a whole I mean, it's just like high-tech equipment all over the place, and it's all over here and all over there. You know, so it's a little difficult for them to like access everything easily.
What time?
But if someone wants to call in and help us figure this thing out, we'll certainly take the call. But you're right. You know, we don't have anything comparable to a Taylor Swift where we can just like sing a little cute little love songs. Okay, we have a couple of calls.
Okay.
We'll take the calls. Yeah, they're gonna get the speakers up and take the calls, and as soon as they get that. Hey, how you doing, brother?
All right, now, Nat, once again, you've done it again, black man.
We trying, brother. We
trying.
And Queen, I love your poems.
Thank
You wrote them or
you.
not.
Yes, I did.
All right. You know, I've been listening y'all past 37 minutes or whatnot, you know, and I could dig where you was coming from about like the blame thing and all of that. But then again, you know, I was also thinking about, you know, like the things that we deal with and whatnot were laid out 50 years ahead of time and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, things have become so systemic and damaging our communities and whatnot that I almost flirt with accepting the existence of the Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? Because it just seems like there's just something that's aimed toward our community and destroying our community. You know, wherein the black man and woman will almost be like an Indian and whatnot. It's just like one of those, like, oh, there go an Indian and that's it. You may not see another one for God knows how long. And I'm just curious, you know, it's like I heard you saying like black on black crime. And it's like, you know, I remember this brother Dick Gregory talking about how, you know, why do they label it black on black crime when they don't do that to Asians or to white folks and so on and so forth? It's like everybody's killing everybody. But why do they always like put the emphasis on things that we do when everybody else is doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost as though it's two black folks go in a restaurant and eat dinner. At the end of the dinner, one's going to be dead and the other one's getting arrested. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're so volatile and our actions are so unpredictable and whatnot. It's like, you know, we should be caged up. That's almost how I take that term black on black crime and whatnot. It's almost self-deprecating in a sense. And I'm just curious, you know, it's like this problem seems so much bigger than just like hold your head up and walk proudly and whatnot.
And
I'm
it
just
is.
Curious, what can a brother do?
Whew. You know what? I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do, and I hear you, and you just, wow. You almost are going to make me stop using the word black on black crime. Thank you.
Well, yeah, you're going to do it. I don't care whether
Yeah.
this show exists or not because that's your nature.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by the black community in and of itself is not destroyed. Whether or not you're discouraged, I mean, I've taken a lot of calls from you, and you gonna hang in there. I don't care if all of us fall into the ocean. You're gonna be the last man in just because that's your nature. And if I don't actually use the phrase, I don't use any phrase for the sake of white folks. Dick Gregory has a closer proximity to white folks and white folks media than I do. I'm kind of talking to black folks, and I'm not, it's maybe black on black crime is the wrong way to put it. You know, but I do want my son not to kill his brother.
Of course.
You know, because I love my son. And the fact that Asian brothers kill each other and white brothers kill each other is of little consolation to me.
To me. Yeah.
So as far as me doing this to put in the Daily News, if I was writing it for the Daily News and had a huge black white audience, I probably would not talk about black folks that much at all, you know, because they would twist everything I say. And it's true, media, you know, does twist everything you say, you know. They remember the guy who and I'm talking too much. I'm gonna let you talk, and then we're gonna take the call, and then I'll get back and I'll ramble some more. But what you're saying is very, very significant. And again, I'm not actually like speaking truth to power. We talking amongst ourselves, trying to come up with some solutions.
Nah, bro, it's just like exchanging
Yes.
thoughts and ideas and opinions.
Right,
But
right,
when you
right. You're right
when
on
you
that.
say
You're right
when
on
you
that.
say what
You're
is
right
that
on
you
that.
can do, you know what? I hear you and I hear the stuff that you're saying, and I believe it's gonna take a lot of men like you, but since it's you, you know, talk to one kid at a time. And if you can reach one, you have done your job. You cannot save the masses, but if you can reach one, you have truly helped the community. If
I
you
got
can
a
just
feeling
reach
you
one.
do it.
I think you
already
do.
doing
All
it.
on
If
your
I
own.
if I can get us, you know,
To be
forget
like
about
you.
black youth. If I can get us, you know, a grown black men to talk a little more like you, to think a little bit more like you, to affect the dialogue a little bit more like you do.
We'd be in a better place.
I think that we'd have a lot fewer discussions about what black youth are or are not doing, you know. So I think other people should be asking you what they should do. But no, I appreciate the call, brother.
All right, now y'all have a good one.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
If we had the other call, we might have talked a little too long. I'm not sure the call is still there. But if the call is still there, put it through.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
You know, you and the sister asked the question, why is this music and this media, why is it the way it is and focused to us? I know, Nat, occasionally you have the tendency to be sarcastic. Was that one of those sarcastic rhetorical questions? It had to be rhetorical because I know you people know that the media and every other outlet, it's the way it is because every day, 24/7, is geared to destroying the black man's image in the black community. As you know, this is steeped in psychology and psychiatry. And it's all about image, implication, and impact. You have the image, then the implication of the image is formed in people's minds, and the impact is the oppression of black people. Every day, that's what it's all about, folks.
Yeah, it was kind of sarcastic. I just wanted you to say it. Shawanna, we had a couple of questions about what our role is. I'm glad that it was like some black men asking the questions.
Yes.
And whatnot, because I really think that's what we need. And we do need to lead more by example. And we do need to understand what our obstacles are, so that we can, you know, plan a strategy for success.
Yes.
You know, because. But your thoughts on the matter? You are the one. You and my daughter and granddaughter, and you know, you take the brunt of a lot of stuff.
Of course.
You know. What's your take on all of this?
As a woman,
Yeah.
I believe that it's a struggle. It's a struggle. It's an uphill battle, though. I don't believe we're sliding backwards. I believe it's an uphill battle. And I believe with, like you say, the new faces that are coming, with the new kids, with the grandkids, with our kids, we're going to turn this around. Because they're in a different place. They see things differently. They're a little more wiser than we were.
Right.
And they're going to turn it around. But we have to lay them a foundation to turn it around. And right now, we're in a tough place. But I believe that it's going to be turned around. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't. Why would I fight? You know? But I truly believe that, you know, he says image and impact. Yes, but we can change the image and the impact. You do not have to succumb to the image or the impact.
Right.
You know, I believe that if Lil Wayne and Kanye West and all you people have the mic, use it for the better good.
Right.
You have the mic. Change the impact.
Right.
Because you guys are parents. What are you teaching your children? Because you are mass media affecting ours.
Right.
You are poison in your own communities. You know, and I believe, just like the first caller, there are stand-up men out here that are doing and producing and giving it back and teaching our kids and paying it forward. But it's more of us women.
Right.
And we need to really get together with these kids. And we need to start, you know how our parents say, do as I say, not as I do? That is not going to work anymore. That's over. And we need to have dialogues with these kids about domestic violence and abuse. And you know, we need to have more discussion. And we need to lay out a blueprint, like you said. You know, we know the problems, but now there need to be some answers.
And the caller is correct. I at times can be sarcastic, but I am not cavalier.
Oh, no.
And I understand exactly what the problems are, and I do not dismiss the problems.
Oh,
and
no.
what the first caller said and the second caller said is 100% correct.
Correct, of course.
They just signed the Violence Against Women Act. But in point of fact, the Violence Against Women Act was signed originally in 1994 by both parties, and it was the Republican Party who led it. The issue was not a question of the act in and of itself. The image, the drawback was the fact that some people are just marginalized and thought of as less than everyone else. And this new version of the Violence Against Women Act included lesbians,
and
it
gays,
included immigrants, and it included Native American women who have been like raped and assaulted and had no recourse when they're raped and assaulted by people who are non-native, because the laws on the reservations are not binding to people who are not Native Americans, and there was no law of record that would
protect them. Wow.
That would protect them from, so they were not protected from any side. So the numbers of Native American women who were suffering from rape and violence from non-native peoples had just soared, and it was almost like with impunity. So it wasn't a question of this act being signed. It was a question of some people have less value in the eyes of this society. Some people have always had less value than other people, you know. So I am very, very cognizant of the word games that are used. Word games like black on black violence are used against us. They use the words gangs against us. They use the words rappers against us. A young man was in Las Vegas in a Maserati, a 27-year-old man got shot up, and they kept using the word aspiring rapper. I don't even know what the hell an aspiring rapper is. You know,
you are or you're not.
Right. You've signed no contract. You're not a rapper. No. You know, you're well, I'm an aspiring astronaut. You know, but they know that the
terminology.
Right.
It's the terminology.
It puts an image in your head. As soon as you say rapper,
then it's bad. So it's okay that you
black violence,
black on black.
Right.
It all correlates and incides with each other.
Correct.
And for it to be okay for all the violence and all the rage to just be with us is, come on now.
Right.
And we know that is not where we come from. We are truly loving, naturing people.
Correct.
As a whole, the black community is a loving people.
Right. That's what they did to those kids in the Central Park jogger trial. Most of those kids, there was only 2 of those kids that actually knew each other at the time. But they knew that if they kept harping on the terminology, if they kept saying that they were some sort of gang. That in and of itself, that image in people's minds would almost convict them without a trial. So they actually didn't need a trial. All they needed was a tree. All they need, the words itself. The words itself. It is very, very effective, and it's almost undetectable because it's so subliminal. You just twist a word here and there, and you know, you're inside someone's mind. That's one of the reasons why the things you do in terms of poetry and spoken word, the things that we do are so confined and manipulated, because if you use words as a weapon, then certainly you know that words are a weapon. So you gotta make sure, you know, that we got the guns, you don't.
You don't. Right. Of course. Verbiage is everything.
Right.
And that's what we have to re-teach our children.
Correct.
We have to teach them to articulate a conversation, because the word game is the game.
Right.
It is the game.
Right.
What you project out of your mouth is how people view you.
Death is of the tongue.
Yes.
So is life.
Yes. And so we need to teach our children life and not death.
Right.
You know, not violence, not abuse, because it's the word game.
Yeah.
You know, you wake up and you tell people you love them, or it's a wonderful day. You speak, and what you speak is what it is.
Right.
And this is why I love spoken word. This is why I love, you know, the arts, because what you put out.
Right.
We can change the face.
Right.
You know, we can change the verbiage.
We can change the face, and we can change the verbiage.
We can change it. You know.
I agree. I know
we have a couple of minutes left, and it's Women's Month.
Yes, it is. So go on, woman.
So if I do not salute my mother, it's going to be a problem.
It's your show. We got like 3 minutes left.
I just, you know, Nat, I'm adopted, and it's Women's Month, and I think that I have a mother who has really deserves to be saluted. She's 71 years old, and she has a theme that says, I might give out, but I won't give up. And I know that I was something that somebody should have gave up on a long time ago, but she held on. You know, people talk about the people you should salute, and it's Women's Month, and you know, I'm so grateful to the woman that said, I'll never give up on you. No matter what you do and how bad you are. And Lord, I thank her, because all that I went through, she said, I'm here. And we don't have so much of that anymore either. Because no matter what it is, she was there. and she's here, you know, and there's people that help you raise your kids, and
Right.
that village vibe, and it's
Right.
that I'm not going nowhere no matter what you do.
Right.
You know, you can take me through the fire and I'm gonna go. You know, the Florence Rices
Yeah.
who aspire us to be better women.
Right.
You know, it's just so many people that we owe Women's Month to,
Right.
because they've showed us how to be women, because we did not know before we were showed.
Right.
We did not wake up. We were not. She's not born woman. It's
Yeah.
something she has to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
You know, and thank God I had somebody that made it easy
Right.
to watch.
Right.
You know, to all the women who are out here doing all these great and wonderful things, thank you. We owe you. You know, thank you for helping us be better women and better people. Thank you to the Yolanda, the Miss Adams, Betty Rowe Adams. Thank you for fighting for these
Jackie
kids.
Rowe Adams,
you know,
right,
the
right,
Aisha
right, Mother
Sekou's for
Say,
Street
right,
Corners. Thank you.
right,
It is Women's
Good,
Month, and we
good,
honor you.
good. Shout 'em
Thank
out.
you for Stephanie McGraw for Warm, Shirley Dupree for Kings of Kings in Queens for domestic violence. You know, I met a wonderful teacher the other day, Dr. Phelps. You know, thank you, because she's starting an orphanage in Ghana. You know, her 15-year-old daughter is leading the charge. We thank you. You know, there is so many women that we can thank, you know, because you're actually showing us how to be women, everyday regular women doing extraordinary things, and we just need to say thank you, because
Yeah.
without you women, without you village vibe, older women, we wouldn't have a voice or a face. So for everybody who fought for us to get this voice and get this face and sit in this seat and call myself running a nonprofit, had it not been for somebody else to pick up the ball, it wouldn't be so. And we owe you, and I thank you, and you know, because thank you for allowing us to be the new face to change it. You know, the next phase of women to change it. I am so honored that somebody paved the way for me. You know,
And thank you, little one, for letting us get it. You know, I'm a work in progress. I'm learning too. We're coming down to the last minute. But I want to say, you know, dudes, you ain't got to beat up on the woman. Just like show a little attention. Look at that. She like let us do a whole show. All I had to do was give her what she wanted, and she was fine.
and if you're right, and if that happened in the homes with mothers and fathers,
Right.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm a work in progress. We're a work in progress, but we are progressing, and I am very honored to have had Shawanna Vaughn, the president and director of Silent Cry. Go on to
silentcryorganization.org.
Right.
Please go on, sign the guest book, and let me know what you think.
Right.
If anybody would like to volunteer to help, I want to put a couple of projects together. Please email me at silentcrysv@gmail.com. Thank you.
We're out of here. I'll see you next week. Peace.